Hi, Rockin' Readers. I never know where to look at this point. It's Kennedy. Happy Sunday. I'm posting this a little later than I anticipated. I'm on the West Coast, and I'm 3 hours behind most of you, more behind some of you who live in other countries. So, hi. Good to see everybody today. I am here for Storytime Sunday, and I'm really excited about it because Down to My Soul, which is book 2 of my soul duet, book 1, of course, was My Soul to Keep, released on Thursday, and I've loved hearing readers' responses so far. You really have to read book 1 before you read book 2, because book 2 literally takes up right where book 1 leaves off. It's really one big old story, because I write long, but I'm not Outlander, so I couldn't give people a 700-page book. So basically the story is bisected, and the first part is book 1, and the second part is book 2, and it's RHYSON Gray and Kai Pearson. That's the hero and the heroine, and I love them. They're 2 musicians. Really, he's a musician, and Kai is more of a vocalist, but she's also a dancer. He is well established. He was a child prodigy. He was a classically trained pianist. By the time he was 11 years old, he was playing like on world stages, famous for classical piano. But he's kind of left that behind. It's a complicated history with his parents that led to that, but now he's really famous in the mainstream and recognized as just one of the greatest musicians of his generation. But then there's Kai, he's in LA, and then there's Kai, who's from this little small town in Georgia, who's just grinding, ready to have her big break, ready to finally get to pursue her dream. There are a lot of things that have delayed her getting to do that. I don't think that's spoilerish for me to tell you this part because it's in the blurb for book 1, but her mom dies, and her mom is diagnosed with ALS, and Kai, had planned to, when she graduated from high school, go with her best friend Santos to LA or New York, and they were both going to pursue their dreams to be entertainers and make it big. Well, San left, he went off to LA to pursue the dream. And Kai instead stayed behind for another 5 years because her mother was diagnosed with ALS, and she took care of her. She was her primary caregiver for the last 5 years of her life. And it's not something that Kai would trade because she and her mother were incredibly close, but it did delay her dream. So now she's in LA. She's moved to LA with her best friend, and she's joined her best friend in LA, and she's ready to, pursue her dreams hard, and she's not going to be distracted. And when she meets RHYSON Gray, just by chance, he's definitely a distraction. And I was kind of torn because I didn't know if I wanted to read the first chapter of My Soul to Keep. I know Down to My Soul is the book that just released, but none of it will really make sense, if you haven't read My Soul to Keep. So I thought I would read from My Soul to Keep and lead you into that book if you haven't read it. And if you have read book 1, I urge you to go ahead and read book 2 because we pick right up where we left off. But I thought I would read from My Soul to Keep, and I was torn about should I read the first chapter, which is very emotional. It is her mom's deathbed scene, actually. It's her last few moments with her mom, and it's very emotional for a lot of readers, especially readers who have lost parents. They seem to identify with it very strongly, and it seems to resonate with them, which is great for me as a writer, feeling like I captured that emotion in an authentic way. But I think instead I will read from the second chapter. I hope this isn't wobbling too much. It's on a table. I will read from the second chapter, which is actually the first time Kai meets RHYSON, and they have a connection pretty much immediately. This is not an insta-love story, not by any means. If anything, I was concerned that the pace would be hard to maintain because it's a slow build. These two really build a friendship, and you see it develop. I don't just kind of say, and then they became friends. You see it develop over chapters, but there's this undeniable sexual chemistry between them that they both kind of fight. Well, he doesn't fight it. She fights it for a while, and then they give into it later, and they do, enter a relationship. But this is their first encounter, and I just wanted to share it with you. So let me get to the page. This will be weird because you'll lose my eyes for a little while, but it's all right. You'll hear my voice. Okay, here we go. This is chapter 2. You'd be late for your own funeral, Kai. The words in my head as clear as if Mama is rushing off the LA Metro bus behind me, pounding alongside me on the sidewalk, jar my thoughts. Even as my heart pinches in my chest, my mouth pulls into my mama's smile, the one her little bit of wit and wisdom always squeezed out of me growing up, the ones that still do. I know, Mama. I adjust my backpack and quicken my steps. I'm working on it. My phone squawks from my pocket. I know it's Santos, my roommate and best friend, texting me, bugging me, worried about me, as usual. Not breaking stride, I pull the phone out and sure enough, text. Santos, what the hell? This is not the day to be late. You okay? With my head lowered, I rapid fire my thumbs across the keypad and barely miss walking into a tow sign. I stand still to finish the message. I don't care if it's Cher waiting at our voice coach's house. Even she's not worth a concussion. And as much as I love Cher, that's saying something. Text. Me, up the street and on my way. Missed my bus. Audition was a joke. Can't wait to tell. Who's Grady's mystery guest? Santos. Hurry your narrow ass up and see for yourself. I have a sneaking suspicion I'll be less impressed than Santos, which doesn't take much. An unabashed celebrity whore, he even gets the autographs of obscure reality stars. Really? Excuse me for not being impressed that you are just like me, only you get paid to shop, eat, and act the fool on camera. That isn't talent, and I don't need you to sign anything for me, but thanks. I stomp the last few blocks to Grady's bungalow. Every time my foot slams into the sidewalk, I envision that vile man's face from the audition I just left under it. Any audition that ends with an invitation to suck a man's dick is suspect, wouldn't you say? I'm tired of being propositioned and objectified and pressured to sleep with these predators who assume I'll set up a drive-thru between my legs to get a record deal. I know girls who do that. Some days, I wish I could throw off my principles and take the easy way, on my back and on my knees, but Mama's voice, even 6 months after she passed, is still strong in my ears, strongest in my heart. Grady's bungalow is deceptively simple. I haven't been in LA long, but even I know anything in Arcadia costs a pretty penny, at least more pretty pennies than I have to rub together. Grady houses a small studio in the back of the bungalow where he teaches voice and music. He and Santos have been my saving grace in this town. One, my longtime friend and lifeline, the other, a mentor of sorts who has grown into the closest thing I felt to family since I moved here from Georgia. The heavy wooden door stands open, with just the screen door between me and the muted sounds beyond the entrance and down the hall. Judging by all the cars in the driveway and along the street, every one of Grady's students has shown up to meet this mystery guest he's been dangling in front of us like a carrot for the last couple of weeks. Guess I'm here to bite like everyone else. I step inside and close and lock the door after me. Even in this neighborhood, you can never be too safe, and I doubt anyone will be coming after me considering how late I am. The living room with its eclectic mixture of modern and antique stands empty. The music, now that I'm inside, reaches me from the rear studio. And what music? I stop, needing to stand still for a moment, needing these notes to wash over and past me. I've never heard Grady's old baby grand sound like this, like some magician is coaxing tricks from it, nimbly charming the keys to make miracles. I don't know classical music very well, get much beyond chopsticks, and I can't name tunes. But even I know that whoever is playing is brilliant. Just moments before, I needed to stand still, but now my feet urge me forward. I have to see who's playing. I want to see them in the throes of this. I stand in the doorway of the studio, ignoring all the other students standing along the walls and sitting on the hardwood floor. My eyes stick to the man I can see just head and shoulders of in the space between the lifted lid and the piano desk. His eyes are closed, and thank God for that, because it would be so awkward for him to catch me gaping at him. I instantly know him, of course. It's RHYSON, one of the most gifted and well-known musicians in the world. But right now, I don't see the shiny layers of fame, wealth, and privilege I would typically associate with him. The piece he's playing holds him captive, sloughing away all those layers until only this raw yearning on his face remains. His eyes are closed tightly, his brows knitted with the passion of the music he seduces out of the piano. His features are almost too much. His nose is strong, straight, and prominent. His brows are thick, dark, and slashing. His mouth is wide, sensual, and full. The hard angle of his jaw clenches. Like this piece he's playing submerges him in the same emotion, drowning me. But he disciplines his face against it. His shoulders are broader than I imagined they'd be, the muscles flexing beneath the white t-shirt covering him as he plays. I'm not even sure if he's handsome, but I know he's dangerously magnetic, like the center of a whirlpool, something that would suck you in and down before you had time to pull away. I don't know this piece, but it knows me. Each note slides in, occupying some corner of my soul that's been barren and empty, and the melody breezes in, scattering dust and cobwebs, breathing in life. This music, with its rushing crescendos and heavy turns, refreshes me, and I have no idea why. Is it the music? Is it him? Are they separate or somehow inextricably entwined? I love music, and I know, like I know my own name, that it is what I'm meant to do, but I've never been moved this way by it. Not this deeply, this quickly, this thoroughly. Like those fingers touching those keys are actually touching me. And though I'm completely covered, I feel naked and exposed. I can only hope that no one sees, that he won't see. And then the music ends. With a crash of keys, it's over, and thunderous applause presses into the awed silence that immediately follows. Those who are sitting stand and clap and cheer. We all know we've brushed up against greatness. I'm grateful for the clamor, giving me time to compose myself, to reassemble all the pieces that music broke me into, and the culprit, the man who undid me so effortlessly, opens his eyes like he's coming to himself, like he'd forgotten we were even there, voyeurs to this fantastic musical display. And then I see those layers wrapping back around him. It starts with the tightening of those full lips pulled into a practiced smile. It moves to his shoulders, pressed back with pride. And it settles over his eyes, the naked passion of that music hidden in seconds behind the dark, guarded eyes that all of a sudden stare back at me. Trying to get back to the photo booth. So that's the first time Kai sees RHYSON. And in the next chapter, it's from RHYSON's perspective, and he talks about the connection he felt with Kai, even across the room, when he opened his eyes after playing that piece, and she's standing there. So that's that. I hope it wasn't too long. It's like 12 minutes at this point. I'm so sorry. Feel free to fast forward, skip around. But that was Storytime Sunday, and I hope all you chicks are having a great time today, and have a great week ahead. The books. Both books are on sale right now for 99 cents, but Monday, which is tomorrow, time of recording, they go off sale. So they will be back up to regular price, $2.99. So you want to grab that today, and I'll put some links here so that you can get it if you want to before it's gone. Okay, have a great one. Bye. I have to stop this now.